Good morning. This is Paul from GammaEdge. Today is Monday, the 11th of April. Go ahead, pause your screens right now. Please read this before you go on. Starting with the overall index conditions, what we're seeing is really weakness across the board. From the SPX compared to Friday, we see a little bit of a reduction in the net negative gamma condition for the SPX. We also see some reduction in the calls. This could be due to the expiration that occurred on Friday, but in general, fairly weak structure. A little more downside here on the calls compared to the overall put side. So between this and the SPY, we're going to color things yellow. Not a lot of dominance here for the bulls. When we take a look at the Qs and the IWM, mixed picture again. We're seeing a reduction here on the call side, but we're seeing an increase on the put side, which is a little more bearish. And we'll talk about that in context of the 0 DTE. The mixed picture comes here from the IWM. We actually have a reduction on the call side, which means calls are just getting slammed to the ground, but we also see a reduction again on the put side. So net negative gamma is also reducing. Mixed picture for the yellow, and just in general not supportive on the Qs, giving us the red light. When we take a look at the 0 DTE for today, overall, we're between what we call the goalposts. This is the net negative gamma expiry and the net positive gamma expiry for the SPX, the SPY, and the IWM. And you can see that the current spot price indicated by the black dot is between the goalposts. When that happens, we're not expecting, a lot of pressure one way or the other. The Qs are a little bit different here. We are to the left of the negative expiry here, or negative gamma level, predominant gamma level here at 350. And when that happens, these are in the money. This is a equity settled ETF, and what that suggests that any downside movement here today could add further momentum to the downside as puts are added. If we get any type of pause in the in the afternoon session, we could actually see a monetization event because we have a dominance of in the money put gamma that is set to expire today. In general, we're going to color this cautionary just because of the weak pressure, but keep your eye on the Qs today. I think that's going to be an interesting setup. Looking at the market model, we did do a video over the weekend that talked about the various cumulative ticks. We're getting a mixed message. This is the worst of all of them. This is the ARCX. We consider this actually the quality cumulative tick. Just want to make sure everyone's on the same page. We had a failure last Tuesday. We had a failure to advance up. We went below where we historically have bounced and turned here at 2. Proceeded to confirm that the moving averages of the ribbon were turning negative. The shorter term is below the longer term here, red below cyan. You can tell that the instantaneous cumulative tick came all the way on down here at 4. It did make an intraday low on Thursday. Did put in some higher highs and higher lows, but we really need to continue this upwards here at Circle 5. So we're looking for a continuation to go up, not likely to get it. But again, we have a mixed bag here, a mixed picture. Circle 6 here is really just showing us that we are resuming a downtrend, and since we're pretty far below here, we've got a significant hole. It takes several days generally to dig out of this. For that reason, we're going to color this red with some cautionary on the higher highs and higher lows. We'll see where we go. Vol, mixed picture. We've got a collapse of VVIX here, showing us that there isn't a lot of fear. We're not getting a lot of expansion of the VIX. On the other side, though, we did get the Euro market this morning, has the VIX up over the 20-day Bollinger Band midpoint. When we see that, that's typically something to play. We also took out Friday's high here. So we actually are looking to potentially enter on the long side and take advantage of an increase in volatility. Also potentially be able to look on the short side here and be able to sell something down here, perhaps paying for something that's up there. On the ES, overnight we did bounce off the true gamma zero here at 44.80, 44.82, and we're remaining below that. VIX, you can see relative to Friday, is high. We did get some drops where we actually had some calls being added, but we also had some puts being added down here. So the overall situation is mixed. For that reason, we're going to color the ES yellow also. Just note here, we're very, very close to these zeros. When we're close to the zeros, there's not a lot of dealer interaction. Expect us to whip around quite a bit here. So I think it's going to be more of the same until we either get above transition, 45.40, or break the zeros and start heading down below 4,400. Take a look at expiration. Actually a significant expiry today relative to everything else into the end of the month. Shortened week today, remember that. We've got Good Friday, and so we have Wednesday and Thursday as the expiries this week. You can see relative magnitudes are really nothing. I mean, we're in the middle here, and so it's, again, loss of directionality. We're going to get whipped around, and so you're going to have to be very opportunistic or just go to the sidelines. Taking a look here at the combo here on the right hand side and the shorter term 0 DTE here, basically net negative expiry. Like I said on the previous slide, somewhat of a relative to the week, it's a strong expiry, but this number is not overly strong. Want to draw your eye to a couple things. Huge dominant level here at 44.50 expiring today. Typically when we see a major level like this expiring, it does open the door to a potential downside. It depends on where we are in this into the 0 DTE close, and so if we drop below the 44.50 level into the close today, we could see a push downward. We could actually see if we get any form of monetization like we were talking about in the Qs, we could get a reversal to the upside. But if we lose 44.50, I think that opens up the door to the downside. Here's 44.50 on the AM and the PM settled, what we call the combo complex. This is everything for the SPX. You can see here that if we do lose the 44.50, it opens the door to 4,400. Actually not a very strong level, but it is within the open high-low expected move for today, which is indicated here by the horizontal blue lines. The key here is that if we do lose the 4,400, there's even a weaker 43.50 down here, but you can see the dominant 4,300. That actually is becoming a downside target. We're seeing this grow, so you want to keep your eye on that. To the upside, 4,600 remains significant. You can see we've got some minor levels at 4,500, 45.50, 75. So, and the 75 is again within that open high-low close expected move. I'm not envisioning that we're going to get much above the 45.80, 45.70 level at all with today's action. If we do for some reason push upward, I just don't see it happening. Finally, taking a look at the trajectories that we're looking at, the 0 DTE, like I said, pay attention to the Qs for the reasons that should be pretty evident. For the VIX, we're also looking to go along the VIX. The play here is risky, looking at a PCS on the downside, perhaps using that to offset or even pay for. If you do a 3-to-1 this morning, I was able to get break even and potentially pay for a call debit spread on the upside. So you can take a look at that and see what that how that looks for you. Taking a look at the cumulative tick market model, it's weak. We do have obviously the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, which are showing probably the most bullish, but everything else is heading downward and is more bearish, so just watch that. The setup is to watch these lower highs and the lower lows, and if we get that, play the downside on those bounces. Lines in the sand, as I said, 45.50 to the upside, rejection from below suggests play the downside off that level, and then the 44.50. Again, if we lose that, that opens the door down to 4,400 and then potentially 4,300 through, the 25 levels through that. So just obviously play off those key levels, but keep those in mind. So that's it for today. Follow us here, join us in our Discord at www.gammaedge.us. What that'll do is take you to a sign-up page, and you'll get 14-day free trial, all the tools turned on, and we got a great group there, and would urge you to come and join us. Of course, follow us on Twitter at GammaEdges with an S, and then here on YouTube. If you liked today's content, please hit the like button and subscribe so that you can get notified of the next content that we put up there. Thanks, everyone. Make it a great week, and remember that we do have a shortened week, which will end on Thursday. Take care.